Breaking tonight, the EU has signalled it could trigger a trade war and legal challenge if the UK rips up part of the Northern Ireland Protocol. The controversial deal, struck after Brexit, ensured there would be no return to the hard border with the Republic of Ireland, but creates an effective border in the Irish Sea. Of course, something the Democratic Unionist Party argues undermines Northern Ireland's place in the UK. Power sharing remains at a bit of standstill in the devolved nation, with the DUP refusing to form an executive until changes are made. Today, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss confirmed the government will publish a law in the coming weeks which will allow ministers to make changes to post-Brexit border rules in Northern Ireland without seeking the permission of the EU.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives. We will cement those provisions which are working in the protocol, including the common travel area, the single electricity market and North-South cooperation, whilst fixing those elements that aren't, on the movement of goods, goods regulation, VAT, subsidy control and governance. We remain open to a negotiated solution, but the urgency of the situation means we can't afford to delay any longer.
Well, within moments of that announcement, the European Commission Vice President Maros Šefčovič released a statement warning that the EU will respond with all measures at its disposal. So, Nigel Farage, look, time is of the essence here. Is Liz Truss right to press ahead this way, or should she have gone further and just scrapped the protocol altogether?
Well, they're looking for a compromise, aren't they? And after all, let's remember, it was this government that negotiated this very deal. There were one or two of us raising alarm bells. I was in Brussels the night all this was agreed. I told people what it would lead to, but I guess the country was suffering from Brexhaustion, and that's why Boris got away with this part. Well, it was, wasn't it? We just had enough,
we were. You know, we were over it by that point, Nigel. We just wanted it done.
Yeah, and I was saying, look, if you think this is an oven-ready deal, you've got another thing coming. There'll be years and years of aggravation caused by it. But hey.
Yeah, I remember. So you were right. You were right then.
Well, I was right.
So what would you do now?
But we are where we are. Fine. Yeah. But I mean, please don't pretend that somehow these difficulties have emerged out of thin air. They haven't. They were obvious from the start. So what the government's trying to do is to seek a compromise. And actually, the concept of red lanes and green lanes, where goods that cross into Northern Ireland from the mainland, those that are green are staying in Northern Ireland, those that are red are being transited through to the Republic, which is an EU country. It sounds great. And it sounds, at least that part of it, like a practical solution. The problem is, on the other side, we have the European Union. And let me tell you something. They are not going to budge one single inch. So all we're really doing here is we're kicking the can down the road for the ultimate decision that has to be taken, which is, the triggering of Article 16, the scrapping of the protocol. By the way, don't forget, Ursula von der Leyen triggered Article 16 to try and stop vaccines, getting into the United Kingdom. I think the truth of it is, and I had Nigel Dodds, the former deputy leader of the DUP, on my programme last night, and I said, Nigel, you'll be back in this chair in a year's time, and nothing will have changed. And I suspect this thing is just going to run on and on and on. I don't think the government has the courage to scrap the protocol. They probably fear the consequences. The EU are saying, we shall do such things. They shall be the terrors of the earth. And the truth of it is, BMW, Mercedes and Audi and Volkswagen want to continue selling their cars in this country. The last time I looked, we were one of the biggest buyers of champagne from France in the world. And the reality is there isn't going to be a trade war. But I'm sorry to say that this whole thing, Dan, will drag on for months, if not years.
So you're not scared of the consequences, Nigel, of just saying to hell with it, scrap the whole darn thing?
Well, don't forget, we were told if we voted Brexit, we'd lose our jobs, lose our houses, and there would be an outbreak of super gonorrhea. It's after 9 p.m, I can say that. And all of these things were said to it. No, look, I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it, one titchy bit. And we should remember that particularly over Ukraine and gas and oil supplies from Russia, the EU today is more divided than it's ever been before. They've got far bigger problems on their plate than Northern Ireland, but there is this streak of vindictiveness against the British, and that's manifested itself ever since that morning of June 24th, 2016.
Liz Truss insisted today that the government won't be breaking international law. Do you believe her?
Look, if you sign a treaty, it is an international commitment by a government. However, no treaty lasts forever. All treaties are up for change. And the ideal way to change treaties is to do it mutually with the other side. If they won't do it, guess what? You break the treaty. It's been going on for thousands of years, and it will go on, I hope, for thousands of years more.
Nigel, are you worried about the political situation in Northern Ireland? I mean, how perilous is it? And do you worry that this could increase the support of Sinn Féin further, even though, of course, we do know the unionist parties still hold the majority of seats?
Well, you've just said it. The unionist parties. There were 3 unionist parties all getting significant votes at this last election. And certainly in the case of the DUP and the TUV, I can't see any publicly stated policy difference between them whatsoever. And my real concern is this split in unionism is threatening the union far more than the so-called rise in Sinn Féin, incidentally, whose vote was only up by 1% from last time round. And what the unionists have done is to give Sinn Féin and the cause of those who support the EU and want the UK to break up, all the split unionist vote has done is given Sinn Féin a boost. And unless the unionists get themselves together, they're in real danger. The other worry, of course, is, does the Belfast Agreement, the Good Friday Agreement, break down completely over all of this? And I guess that's the biggest fear. Mercifully, to date, that has not happened. But you never know. After all, this is Northern Ireland.
Have our politicians let the people of Northern Ireland down, Nigel? Like
a cheap pair of braces. Absolutely, they really, really have. And I remember on the night of the 31st of January 2020, and there we were, 100,000 of us in Parliament Square and a big old party going on. And yet there were people who I'd shared platforms with all over the UK, including in Northern Ireland, during that referendum campaign, and they weren't present because they knew what it meant. And if you start the breakup of the United Kingdom with Northern Ireland, who knows what the consequences are for Scotland and elsewhere. So, yes, they have been. I know it's an old-fashioned word, and I know that Ian Paisley Sr. Used to shout it from balconies to large audiences in Northern Ireland, but they have been betrayed. Of that, there's no doubt. Don't forget, the Prime Minister explicitly told them there would be no border in the Irish Sea, and there is. At some point in time, we're going to have to grasp this nettle, but they're not ready to do it yet.
Best analysis in the business from the man behind Brexit, Nigel Farage, who will, of course, be here again tomorrow, 7 p.m. on GB News. Thank you so much, Nigel.
Thank you.